Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio this morning is Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister. Chief, good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, thanks for coming over. I kind of put it on you short notice to try to beat the 4th of July. So I appreciate you making the trip and coming over to see us. And like I said, 4th of July, Chief, that's the big one. Let's dive into it. What comes to first to mind for you when you think 4th weekend, a 3-day weekend, 250th, all the things? It's kind of a perfect storm this year. It really is. What do you think?
It is. I think it'll make for a big one. I think we're going to be very busy. All the emergency services will be. We usually are on the 4th, but this one might be even busier just due to the timing.
Yeah. 3-day weekend for a lot of folks. Like I said, the substances will be abound, I'm sure, and all of that. I think for a lot of folks, Chief, the first thing that comes to mind, for those that just want a peaceful weekend, it's everybody shooting off the fireworks in town. Are they supposed to be doing it? Or what are the cops going to do about it? That sort of thing. Let's just kind of address the elephant in the room, if you will.
Sure. Yeah, we can dive right into that. All fireworks, and when I say fireworks, I mean anything that goes bang. So your black cats, your bottle rockets, on up to your mortar shells and everything else. They're all illegal.
Mm-hmm.
They're prohibited possession, sale, and use, both statewide and by city ordinance. So any public displays of fireworks, they have to be permitted through the fire department. Those are typically your big fireworks vendors, like
Mm-hmm.
what we'll have at the Park District on Friday night. Those people have to show training records, certain licenses, different things like that, and apply with the city to get a permit. Those are the only people that are allowed legally to display fireworks. So what we're going to do about it is the same thing that we generally do every 4th of July. We're going to get a lot of, my neighbor's shooting off fireworks and he's keeping me awake type calls. The city ordinance prohibits it. So if the complainant wants to sign the ordinance violation form, the officer will issue it to the violator. The expectation then is that the complainant attends and testifies in court if necessary.
Mm-hmm.
If the officer witnesses the violation himself, he can issue the ordinance violation based on his observations. And there's a fine associated with every single violation. So each violation is a separate offense, is how our code is written. And those fines range from $150 for the first offense to $500 for the third and subsequent. So there's a pretty hefty fine associated with it.
Sure. So keep that in mind with fireworks, and I'm sure a lot of communities kind of approach it the same way. I would imagine. So
I think that's a typical response for municipal police departments. Another thing is the fire department's always busy that weekend. So just about every year we have a fire of some sort because a person has lit off, whether they're illegal fireworks or not, has lit off some fireworks, and they put them in a trash can, or they set them next to the garage,
or they set them off next to the garage, and the garage catches on fire.
We have a few fire calls. So if you do participate and you choose to do that, safe disposal.
Sure.
Is key.
Yeah. And with all the rain we've had, I don't imagine there's going to be dry spots to where, we're going to have like brush or grass fires or anything like that. I could be wrong. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah.
And okay, so then, Chief, inevitably, there are going to be people who have or are still to go across the border, either side of the state, and pick up their fireworks. And they're, maybe they're in the country, maybe they're in town. I won't say who, but somebody used to shoot off fireworks in city proper in Lincoln. But for those people that are going to do that, let's put out the safety reminders for them.
Right. So obviously have a water source to put out any fire if it may start. Limit your celebration to non-alcoholic beverages if you're going to be the one handling fireworks, or whatever sort of substance you may choose to use to celebrate the 4th. And respect others, neighbors and things like that. If somebody asks you to stop, just put it away.
Mm-hmm.
Find a more discreet location to celebrate, where you may not bother anybody.
Or maybe a better time of day rather than, 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night, right? Yeah. So, yep, no doubt. No doubt. I'm sure the hospitals, I don't know if they'll be inundated with injuries, but they may see one or two. Every year. Sure. And the other thing that kind of comes to mind for me is be cognizant of like power lines and stuff. That was, even in my stupid days, that was one of the things I always tried to look out for, was make sure I wasn't putting those up in the air near like power lines or something.
Right.
So,
neighbors' rooftops and things like that,
or your own rooftops.
Right. All of that needs to be considered.
Sure.
And I think that's probably why, your city police departments lean toward being more conservative when it comes to fireworks, because they do pose a danger to the community.
Sure. And again, 4th of July weekend, Chief, it's again, Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister is my guest in studio here for this morning. It's a long weekend, so the libations are going to be abound, the gatherings are going to be abound. I guess if you want to speak to being a good neighbor, party noise, gathering noise, those music, I don't know. Do you want to address that at all?
Yeah, sure. I hold a pretty patriotic view when it comes to the 4th. That's my personal opinion. So I don't necessarily personally mind the celebrations and the music and the noise and the fireworks, but my personal opinion when I'm on duty doesn't count. So I have to respond to the complaints that are lodged and handle them appropriately based on the factors that I see when I get there. So I would say when it comes to all of that, any kind of disturbance that the holiday may cause, just be neighborly. Instead of calling the police immediately when your neighbors are maybe having a loud party, knock on the door, get to know them, say, hey, you mind turning it down? I have to work tomorrow. Not everybody gets the whole weekend off.
Right.
And if that doesn't work, then that's what we're here for. And we'll come handle that dispute for you.
What's appropriate when it comes to those things in terms of noise level, music level, all that?
Right. Depending on where you live, check your city ordinance or your county ordinance. Each city is different when it comes to like disturbing the peace, when loud music, things like that. Some folks or jurisdictions have a 10 o'clock curfew. Others are earlier. So.
It's going to be a little warm for the bonfire scene, but I don't know, maybe there's people out there doing something like that, cooking some s'mores or something. That's a very 4th of July thing, I feel like. What is the city of Lincoln's, whether it's ordinances, laws around like bonfires and that sort of thing?
You're supposed to register them with the fire department. So we have burn days. I think it's Tuesdays and Thursdays that folks are allowed to burn yard waste only, not trash or construction scraps or anything like that, but your actual bonfire, or leaves and sticks, things like that. Outside of those burn days, a resident is really required to call the fire department and say, I'm going to have a celebration, we'll have a bonfire here. And they have to, there's a few requirements that they ask, that it needs to be 50 feet away from any structure, or including like wooden fences, and that you have to have a water source available. So garden hose will work.
Okay. Yeah. And I know, just like thinking out loud, I'm sure there's folks that may not do air, have air conditioning, or air conditioning's gone out or something like that. And, if there's a breeze and, neighbors got a bonfire going, that gets in your house and kind of stinks the place up. So that was always kind of a perturbance of mine at times. But I didn't know if that was anything that you guys had thought about. And again, celebrate responsibly, with alcohol. I know legalized marijuana is very much a big thing nowadays. I'm sure your officers will be, watching for those drivers to be sober and stuff. Speak to that a little bit, Chief.
Yeah, every holiday weekend, we try to focus when we can on DUI detection and enforcement. So just because of the nature of the holiday, more people tend to celebrate. Make sure you have a designated driver. Obviously, try to control your rate of consumption so that you don't need one. But if you do, there's no shame in calling a friend. There's a lot more shame in having your name in the newspaper.
Yeah, right. Yep. Very good. Very good. So, all right, keep those things in mind. Did I miss anything, Chief, when it comes to 4th of July for Lincoln Police?
No, we do have a few events coming up, but we can talk about that after
I've got time if you want to hit on those. Yeah. What do you guys have?
Lincoln Park District is going to host the annual fireworks display.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually a very busy event for us. We typically have our officers out there, usually the DARE folks out there, cooking hot dogs and handing out waters, things like that ahead of the event. And, when the sun goes down, they're going to put on a pretty good fireworks display out at the Lincoln Park District.
And that's on Friday?
Yeah, on Friday the 3rd,
okay.
1400 Prim Road.
Yeah, sure.
Is the address out there. There's parking available at the high school, and then anywhere there's open parking on the streets in that area.
Yeah, we used to park at the high school and watch, me and some buddies. So that's cool. Yep, very good. Anything else going on downtown you're aware of?
Following morning at 9:30, we will have the Lincoln 4th of July parade. I think we have 20 some entries in that. So we invite the community to come down and join us for a little parade and
cool
celebration.
All right. Very good. Anything else going on for the 4th you're aware of in Lincoln?
In Lincoln specifically, no. I know the other community, I think Pulaski and Atlanta both have fireworks displays.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah.
It might be on the 4th, though.
Yes, I think you're right. Very good. Well, Chief, on that note, let's go ahead and break. Come back with some more. Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister, my guest in studio this morning. More to come with the Chief on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans, and Chicago wheat higher at this hour. July corn up 4 1/4, 4.17. September corn up 3 1/2, 4.20 1/4, and December corn 4.39 3/4, up 3 3/4. July beans up 11.27 3/4. August beans up 9 1/4, 11.33 1/2, and November beans up 9 1/4, 11.53. July Chicago wheat up 17 3/4, 5.98 1/2. July KC wheat up 13 1/2, 6.24 1/2. July bean meal up 2.10, 3.0680. July bean oil up 51 cents, 67.25. Livestock trade, August feeders 365.20, up 60 cents. August live cattle up a nickel, 2.40, 2.47. July lean hogs down 30 cents, 94.02. Energy market, September Brent crude oil 71.91, down $1.04. RFD Radio Network.
Don't let a summer sniffle turn into a summer setback. Warner Hospital's walk-in clinic has you covered. No appointment necessary. Just walk in and be seen by our caring medical team. Warner Hospital Walk-in Clinic, right here when you need us.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
If you're looking for music that stood the test of time, join me, Randy Miller, Sundays from 6 to 8 a.m. on 95.9 WEZC. I host Steady Ground Replay, a 2-hour journey back to the roots of contemporary Christian music. From the songs that started a movement to the hits that formed our foundation, it's 2 hours of timeless encouragement. Steady Ground Replay, standing on the music that built our faith. Sundays from 6 to 8 a.m. on 95.9 WEZC.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today is Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister. Chief, you were telling me before we got started here this morning, it's been a busy summer for your officers. What's going on in Lincoln these days?
Very much so. We've just seen a drastic increase in calls for service over the last about month and a half, a little bit before the Memorial Day weekend, all the way through to, this morning when I woke up and read the shift brief. We're just seeing a big increase in the amount of calls, emergency calls and your regular day-to-day police work type.
Yeah, sure. Any trend standing out more than another right now for you?
Domestic violence is very prevalent right now.
Okay.
I don't know if it's just the heat getting to everybody, but that's one of our most frequent calls for service in Lincoln. We've had a lot of those. We've had a lot of car accidents here recently as well.
Like serious car accidents? Or?
Yeah, we've had serious car accidents. Unfortunately, we had a fatal car wreck over the Memorial Day weekend.
Oh no!
And that resulted in the arrest of an individual, and that case is ongoing.
Yeah.
At this time.
Impaired driver, or are you at liberty to say?
Well, yes, he was arrested for driving while intoxicated.
Okay.
And again, it's under investigation.
Fair enough.
Prosecution phase.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, and that goes back to what we were talking about with the fourth, is just that sober driving piece and that sort of thing. I mean, and I was having this conversation with another one of your law enforcement brethren, at least recently, is that it feels like, at least what I've noticed when I read like police beats and stuff, it feels like DUI numbers or DUI arrests and stops are not as prevalent as they used to be. I don't know if you want to talk about that much or not. Sure. I don't know. What are you seeing?
Sure, absolutely. You're right. DUI enforcement is down, and that's due specifically to the amount of calls for service that we respond to. Traffic enforcement, which DUI falls under, that always takes a nosedive when your calls for service go up.
Right.
Our first priority is responding to a call for help, and then second would be making sure that we're enforcing traffic laws and keeping people safe on the roadways. So yeah, anytime you see those calls for service spike, you're going to see traffic enforcement numbers go down.
That makes sense. Are you at liberty on the domestic side of things? I mean, is it are these like physical disturbances, or are they just a lot of verbal sparring? What are you noticing?
Both for sure. Most often, I don't pay much attention to the verbal only altercations. We get called to those quite frequently, and we're just there to help somebody settle a dispute. I pay attention to the arrest numbers, and those only occur during physical disturbance.
I see. Is spiking those then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that concerning to you?
No, it's pretty typical.
Okay.
Every summer we see calls for service go up, and specifically related to domestic, it happens in the wintertime as well.
Right. Everybody's trapped together.
Fever.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I guess on that note, I mean, obviously, I'm sure you're aware we had a situation like that over here that actually led to the death of a young woman. What is your advice to, men or women in that situation where they're, physically being abused to that degree? What's your advice, Chief?
That's a deep subject, but the simple answer is to get away, to walk away. Anytime somebody's going to lose their temper, whether it's a domestic situation or just a confrontation on the street with a stranger, it can usually be settled by just one person being the bigger man, so to speak, and walking away from the situation.
Yeah.
Domestic is a little different. There are personal relationships involved, and it's very hard to walk away from. But if it's risen to the level of violence, it only gets worse. So there are resources out there for victims of domestic violence, no matter what their gender is or what type of relationship that they're in.
Yeah. What's available in Lincoln for that?
We have the Sojourn. We also have Memorial Behavioral Health, Memorial Crisis Response. They're kind of an interconnected web that can give people resources for whatever situation they're dealing with, including domestic violence.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's a concerning trend to see that number going up, for sure. Yeah, definitely. And like I said, the situation we've got, that went on in Clinton, that's a one that hits home for a lot of people. I know that, for sure, Chief. Anything else going on within your department? Your guys you're handling these days that's standing out you want to talk about?
No, we're still focused on drug enforcement. That's always been a big thing in Lincoln.
Yeah.
It's one of the priorities that I set for my folks is to pay attention to those trends and address the drugs coming into the community and being sold there. So we're still working hard on that subject. We did have an increase in traffic enforcement, believe it or not, before our calls for service spiked, like I was telling you about before, related to some citizen complaints that were sent to me. So we did some focused enforcement on complaints there.
Any parts of town specifically?
Yeah, they're kind of always the same. Your major thoroughfares, obviously Woodlawn Road is a big one. We did a detail out there that was very successful. South Kickapoo Street's always been a raceway.
Yeah. Just areas where there's houses along the line,
with long straight stretches.
Yeah. So that makes sense. That makes sense.
Same town has it, or same thing happens in every town that has those types of areas.
Sure. Yeah, very good. Coming up the rest of the summer, we get into July. Anything you're thinking about as the summer rolls along that you're either looking forward to or thinking about from a law enforcement standpoint?
I'm looking forward to it cooling down. It's rough out there right now.
That's the word. I had the believe it or not, I had the weather service in Lincoln on before the folks before you came in here this morning, and seems like July could cool down a little bit. I mean, it's still summer in Illinois, so it's not going to be perfect, but it's better than what we've dealt with, right? So, by the way, speaking of the heat, what do y'all deal with in Lincoln when it comes to heat like this?
Well, I think probably, again, everybody deals with the same issues. The folks that are homeless or insecure in their housing, maybe couch surfing or staying in an abandoned area, those folks need to be looked out for during times like this. So typically the Lincoln Memorial Hospital, and then I think there are some churches in town offer cooling resources for people in that circumstance. We've had a lot of referrals come in through our deflection program for folks that are in that situation and need some, hydration is a big one.
Yeah, sure.
Just dropping off bottles of water to people that may not have available resources.
Very good. Well said, Chief. Always good to talk to you, sir. Can folks follow you on social media or anything like that?
Well, they can't follow me on social media, but
I meant the police department is what I meant. Yeah.
Lincoln, Illinois Police Department Facebook page.
Very good.
We have had some requests for assistance in identifying suspects here.
Sure.
Recently, they posted on there. So
all right,
please reach out if you have any information that can help us.
Very good. Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister, my guest in studio this morning. Network news comes your way now on the morning show.
The Big 50.